What do you think of when you hear the word self-confidence or the words self-esteem? Do you imagine acts that exhibit confidence? Or do you imagine a person that fits the definition of confidence to the dot? Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, today I would like to talk about the nature of self-esteem and whether or not we can fight back against it. Let's start from the very beginning, the definition. According to the Oxford Handbook of Positive Psychology, self-esteem is considered the overall valuation of your own self-worth. In other words, self-esteem is the beliefs that you hold about your own value as a human being, but the emotions that you bring along with those beliefs. So for example, let's say Kalechi is competent in juggling 3 balls. Whenever he thinks about juggling, the emotions that he'll associate with juggling are feelings of triumph and pride. I mean, at least I would. Let's say someone does not feel competent in math. The emotions that you feel with that would be feelings of despair, shame, and even discombobulation. And now that we've defined it, let's look at the nature of self-esteem, whether or not it is dependent on biological influences or environmental influences. Or in other words, is self-esteem predetermined? The assumption in today's society is that your psychological traits, such as self-esteem, is dependent upon the way that you were raised or your parenting. And so according to Ray B. Williams of Psychology Today, there was a group of behavioral scientists who decided to challenge this notion by conducting a study on children's ages 7 to 10 and to compare the heredity or the genes of self-confidence and its relationship to IQ and performance. What they found was that the genes for confidence is very important for the children's confidence, and that it's independent to IQ. They also found that if a child has great belief in their own confidence, they often perform better in school, and even if they have a lower IQ than the rest. The same applied to student athletes, where at least for the children from age of 7, athletes, their confidence actually mattered more than their ability. Personally, I believe that your self-confidence is a mixture of biological factors and environmental factors. And I'm sure from all your experiences, you can attest to the fact that some people have varying levels of confidence from year to year. But you have to admit, some people just have a knack for being confident. So in the end, self-esteem is a mixture of genetics and the environment, and it is a very important factor towards success and happiness. Now that we know that self-esteem, you can fight back. You can, even if you don't have the genes, you can fight back against a low self-esteem. And according to the author of Feeling Good, Dr. David D. Burns, the School of Cognitive Behaviorism states that your thoughts are responsible for the actions and feelings that you have. So for example, let's say if you have self-defeated thoughts, you will have self-defeating emotions and behaviors as a result. And from those emotions and behaviors, you're going to lead to more self-defeating thoughts. And then eventually, it'll go to the point where you're going to convince yourself that you had and are and will always be a defeated person. But that's not the case at all. And by reprogramming your thoughts, you can eliminate the negative slant it has on your behaviors and actions, and you can appreciate both the happy and sad times in life. And really, the root of all low self-esteem is that you feel inadequate towards the obstacles you face. That is the root of low self-esteem. And so according to Dr. David D. Burns, a simple method of fighting against low self-esteem, to increase your self-esteem, you have to fight against that internal critic inside your head that is responsible for those thoughts of inadequacy. So a simple way is to make a T-chart which has automatic thoughts and it has rational responses. The automatic thoughts are where you put down your negative thoughts that eat away at your mind. So for example, you could write, people are going to think I'm a horrible speaker for standing up here speaking in front of all of Hershop Toastmasters. And now, rational responses is your rebuttal towards those thoughts. So in this case, you could write, First of all, you're falsely assuming that you're a horrible speaker. You haven't even tried it, you don't know. And even if one person thinks you're a horrible speaker, it's not the end of the world. And that one person's thoughts does not represent all 29 of you. So basically, if you fight back against the internal critic and practice good habits, you can manage any fear that you desire and be happy. And so, in conclusion, self-esteem is based upon a mixture of environmental and biological factors. And it's very important to understand what self-esteem is, because not only can you develop confidence in yourself and others, you can also avoid the pitfalls that occur along the journey. And having a high level of self-esteem is very important because it helps you maintain healthy relations with your social, your professional, and personal aspects of life. And anytime if you're feeling down or annoyed by events happening in your life, just remember one thing. The famous saying stated by French philosopher René Descartes was not "I feel, therefore I am." It was "I think, therefore I am." Thank you.